Welcome. We are a mother-daughter podcast about all things surrogacy. Together, we have brought 8 beautiful babies into this world, and we would like to share through education and knowledge about surrogacy with those who want to educate themselves on the topic. This is Stop.Sit.Surrogate. This episode is sponsored by U.S. Surrogacy, LLC. If you've ever dreamed of helping grow a family or are hoping to grow your own, U.S. Surrogacy, LLC is here to guide you every step of the way. They are a dedicated surrogacy agency committed to supporting intended parents and surrogates through a compassionate, ethical, and well-supported journey. U.S. Surrogacy, LLC works with amazing women who want to make a life-changing difference by becoming a surrogate, while also helping intended parents experience the incredible gift of parenthood. Their team focuses on transparency, strong communication, and personalized support so that everyone involved feels confident, cared for, and informed throughout the entire process. If you've ever considered becoming a surrogate, or if you're an intended parent exploring your options, U.S. Surrogacy LLC is ready to help you take that next step. To learn more about their programs and how you can get started, visit us-surrogacy.com. That's us-surrogacy.com. And now let's get into today's episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stop.Sit.Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen.
Hey, everybody.
Today, we have a lovely guest who was referred to us. I love when our listeners are like, hey, you got to check them out. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. I'm Molly. I am the founder and executive director at Surrogate Screening Solutions.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so is this an agency?
It's like an agency. We, kind of call ourselves like the third option. So, it's like you have your independent journeys without assistance, you have your agencies that manage everything, and we're kind of a nice option for people where agencies and their pricing might be out of their price range. So we offer a screening for surrogates that they've found independently, but then we also offer case management and social work support for their journey once they've been matched and their surrogate's been approved at their clinic.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
super nice. How'd you get into this industry?
Yeah, so I have been in the surrogacy space now for 10 years. So I started out at an IVF clinic. I was the assistant to one of the doctors there, and I just kind of fell in love with, surrogacy from working in the field when I was there. It was when I first became a surrogate myself. I've had 4 completed journeys, and then a 5th journey that, just kind of didn't get all the way there. So it was just, one of those things. I worked there, and then, I did a surrogacy journey, and I just couldn't imagine myself, kind of doing anything else after that. It's a really rewarding field to work in. And I just kind of loved everything about it. And I've been in all different parts of the space. So I've been on the clinic side a lot, but I've also been at full service agencies as well, like doing everything from intake to case management. So I've really just enjoyed my time in this space, and I was excited to kind of find my own little niche in this field.
Did you find a need for it? Like from people that you were coming in contact with, and you were just like, there's got to be a little bit of a better affordable option for those who can't.
I did. It was when I was at the last IVF clinic I was at. We had a lot of intended parents on independent journeys, and those journeys weren't working out. It was like there were just things happening. They maybe weren't qualified, or they were skipping steps, and it's like, we couldn't really help them because we were the clinic. Right. And I was like, all right, I really want to be that person who's able to, kind of help in this beginning stage of this journey, just to make sure that everybody's setting a strong foundation. Everybody is, kind of doing all of the steps, just like an agency kind of does with their screening. So collecting those medical records, making sure nothing's in them, making sure they get their psych done, their background checks done, their insurance reviews. So then once they get to the clinic, all of those things are done. And somebody's also, been talking to the surrogate. So it's not, one of their situations where, you're getting to clinic, you're getting to medical screening, and then something happens and, either she's not qualified or she stops communicating with them, because that's what was happening with a lot of those independent journeys, which was,
Yeah.
it's like heartbreaking.
Mm.
And there are people who had to say, like, you know what, this was my last chance, and now I can't do it anymore. And that was, on the clinic side, that just really hurt my heart, because
Yeah.
it's like, you want everybody to be able to get there and to bring that baby home. And I was like, all right, maybe I can be, this option for these people, where it's a much lower cost, and it's helping them get there.
Okay.
Wow.
So
That's
do
amazing.
surrogates, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in, Ken.
No, you're fine.
Do surrogates come to you and say, hey, I'm looking for a match, or the intended parents are seeking you out and saying, hey, we've
Yeah,
got
usually
somebody?
the intended parents come to me because they've found a match. So maybe they've found a match in a Facebook
Oh, okay.
group. Sometimes it might be a family member who has said that she wants to be their surrogate. So we have to see if, okay, is she qualified,
Got it.
to be your surrogate? Sometimes it's a friend or a friend of a friend type of situation.
Okay.
I do sometimes have, because I've been in the surrogacy space as a surrogate. So I'll sometimes have friends of mine reach out to me, or surrogates will occasionally reach out to me, and then sometimes it does end up working out with intended parents that maybe it didn't work out with who they originally came to us with.
Okay.
So for the most part, they have found that surrogate somewhere, kind of themselves, and a lot of times it's a known person to them. But just because they're known doesn't mean that
Right.
they're gonna check all those boxes that they need to check and able to
And
do
keep it
this.
moving. Right. And keep the process moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where you guys come in. Okay. That makes that, oh, wow. That's very interesting niche. Very.
So so say, I'm a surrogate and I meet, a couple or a person online and then we find you. Have I, the surrogate, already gone through my clearances or am I doing my clearances with you?
You'll do those, yeah, you'll do those with us.
Yeah.
So I always kind of start out with, I'll have my consult with the intended parents, but my next step is, if they already have that surrogate, I'm having a call with her. And it's a lot like an intake call, like an agency would do. So I'm kind of going through the whole process, talking about surrogacy, answering any questions she has, letting her know all of the steps that need to get done.
Yeah.
And then we kind of then go from there with those screening steps. So then we send her a HIPAA release, we request her medical records, and then I like to just do that piece first, make sure those records are approved at their IVF clinic, and then kind of do all the other screening steps that need to get done. So then get the psychological evaluation done for everybody, her insurance review done if she has health insurance, and then a background check.
Okay. So yeah, so all the
Yeah.
normal steps. And then
Mhm.
from there, so like they're not being sent to an agency afterwards. This is independent, but with additional help.
Yeah, so sometimes intended parents just want us to help with just those screening steps. And that's a lot of the time if it's like a family member. It's like we don't need somebody to help us, communicate with my
Yeah.
sister or whatever. So sometimes we're just doing that. Sometimes their clinic, even though they're family members, may require that they have case management while they're at the clinic stage. So then we also have parents that we're working with at that stage. So we'll work with everybody until their surrogate starts care at her OB. So we're making sure like their insurance policies are getting done, the life insurance is getting applied for. We're the kind of go between, just, making sure everything's going smoothly, communicating with the clinics, the attorneys if we need to, helping with escrow. So doing all those things like an agency would do for case management. So sometimes they just need it for that shorter stage, but then we also have parents we work with until delivery. So I kind of try to like just customize it for,
Yeah.
hey, what works with your budget, what works with what you need. So we have different things available.
So it's kind of like they can have like choose like packages or like kind of like a
Mhm.
la carte in a
Okay.
sense, right?
Exactly,
That's pretty
exactly. I
nice.
try to be as,
Flexible. Yeah.
flexible as possible.
Yeah.
Just so that there's something that works for everybody.
Yeah.
But the
And
majority,
I'm assuming this is like a fraction of like what an agency would cost for intended parents.
It
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, it definitely is. I try to have my prices as low as possible so that
Yeah.
I can stay in business,
For
and I
sure.
feel like people can
Afford
afford
it.
it. So
Yes.
yeah, so the screening, so for all 4 steps of the screening process, that's $3,000. And then from there, our case management packages vary. So it's 7,000 for case management until start of care at OB. And then if you want additional until delivery, that's an additional 5,000. And then we have another package that's an additional, it's like 17,000 total. And it has a lot of social work care included with it. So that has like 15 sessions for like each party that we're including with the package. So it's kind of like you have different steps.
What's the
so
initial one? It cut out on my end. What's the
Oh,
initial?
yes. 7,000 is for until start of care at the OB. So
And is
if
there
your
one
clinic
before
just
that?
requires it. Yeah, 3,000 is
Great.
just for this all the screening.
Screening. Wow.
That's really affordable.
That's really affordable.
Yeah, and that was very important to me is I want to make it as affordable for as many people, as I can, because some agency fees are, getting in the 50,000 plus, range. And, it makes it for that surrogacy is not obtainable for, a lot of people that need to seek it, especially if it's something like, your sister's caring for you or something. It's like, you don't, those aren't the people that have saved $150,000 for their journey. Exactly. It's people that it's like had these, medical issues that this is where they have to go. And, they luckily have a family member, but they need support. And at the same time, they, that makes it so that they maybe couldn't proceed if that was their only option.
Right.
Right.
Are the majority of your clients first-time intended parents?
A lot of them are first time, but I do have some parents that did their initial journey with an agency and then they come to us for their sibling journey. So it's like they already have so then they don't need matching, right? Their surrogate wants to work with them. They still they don't want to have to do all of the detail work, because they were with an agency, so they know how much is involved. And then, it makes it so they can do that sibling journey because it's not a full agency fee that they have to pay again.
Yeah,
right.
That's awesome.
So I'd say probably 25% of our parents, it's a sibling journey.
Wow.
Oh,
Great.
that's super great.
And I don't even know if we asked, how long have you been in business?
April will be 3 years that Surrogate Screening Solutions has been in business.
And how many babies have you? Do you keep stats like that? How many babies?
We are just having babies deliver now. Initially, I just did a lot of just the screening only, and then medical record collection, and then probably year 1.5 was when we started really taking on people for journey. So now these people that we've been working with for almost 2 years now are getting to the point of having their deliveries in the next couple of months. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow, how exciting.
Because it takes 9 months to literally carry a baby. So
it does. And then there's
so much before.
For sure.
There, yeah. So it took a little bit to have babies coming, but we have
that's awesome.
From May to onward, probably 7 or 8 or so that are currently being born. So they're baking right now.
That's exciting.
Yes. That's really
when these couples and surrogate, I don't know how I'm supposed to lump that, but when the group is with you, there you go, the matches, when they're with you, and they say they want the whole thing, they want you there because it is their first time. It's both their first times. They're like, we need someone to hold our hand through this. Are you giving them? Do they come with oh, this is the lawyers that we've been looking at, or are you helping them get in contact with the outside people?
It all depends. Sometimes they do already have attorneys that they've been talking to. Usually the surrogate doesn't, but sometimes the intended parents do. So I do give a lot of referrals, the attorney side. They usually always have a clinic though. So it's they've already, if the embryos aren't created, they're almost created when they come to us. But they don't always have attorneys. So we're always happy to give, referrals that way and guidance. Same with escrow. Sometimes when they're independent, they don't think it's as important as it is. So that's always something that I'm kind of if you are compensating her, if you want your, here's some trusted escrow providers, you really need to, this is another important step. So we definitely do, kind of refer as we need to the people that they're going to need to have on their team to, to make the journey happen successfully.
Wow.
Awesome. You're dialed.
That's very exciting.
Awesome.
So do you work internationally too, or are you just domestic?
We have some, I have two or three international intended parents. So we're definitely open to, to international. The majority of them are in the US. I'm in Connecticut, so a lot are kind of like East
Oh
Coast
yeah.
based intended parents, but we kind of have some people everywhere.
Okay.
Okay. And on your website, you do talk about you talk a lot about emotional support on your website. Why is mental health such a big part of this process, do you think?
It really is, and it is for all the parties. It's just there's just so much involved. There's so many emotions. There's so many things that are emotional that can happen. There's also timing issues where people could get upset. If they want something done yesterday, kind of people, and it's really not because it's kind of not how the process works. So
Right.
I really find that having mental health support is very important. And that's something that also when you're on an independent journey, you don't always have. So we do sponsor an intended parent support group every month. And that's open to anybody. It doesn't have to be our intended parents. So it's kind of open to anybody who wants that extra support. We also have a support group for surrogates, and that's more of like a kind of meetup and chat kind of thing that we do monthly as well. We're also looking to, because I've recently hired someone to assist me who's a Spanish speaker with intake because I had a few surrogates that were only Spanish speaking. So we're going to start having a Spanish
That's
speakers
great.
support group for surrogates just so
Awesome.
that they have somewhere to go where they're most comfortable,
Yeah.
most comfortable talking. We also have social workers on staff that do check-ins. So our regular level of care has just like 5 check-ins throughout the journey with both parties, but they're available if you need it for more, if there's ever some kind of conflict that you need to talk to with a neutral party together, we have that availability. So I just feel it's just really important to feel like you have somebody that you can talk to. It's kind of like in life, right? Like it's good to
Yeah.
have a therapist that when you're, that
Yeah.
when you're having something going on, or even just to have regular check-ins with that. It's just so important. And mental health is sometimes something people don't want to talk about too.
Right.
So our surrogates, we usually have them happy to participate, and our intended parents are usually more of a no, we're okay
Oh,
kind of people. So it's a little harder to get the intended parents
wow.
to know
Oh,
that it's like, hey, this is for you too. It's
Yeah.
helpful.
like this is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
But we're hoping it, continues to grow, and we have more
Yeah.
parents too that are really, that really do want to talk to our social workers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so
Yeah.
you have social workers running them?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So, yep,
That's
we
great.
have social workers that do the check-ins, and then they also run the meetings that we have, the monthly meetings, so that there's somebody that is
Professional.
has a mental health background, that if there
Yeah.
are, because sometimes, things get emotional. I feel like it's better to have somebody with that type of background. So like I'm not on those calls, especially if somebody wants to complain about me, right? I don't I don't want to be on the
No.
call if they have something to say about like,
Sure, I get
us.
that.
I
Yeah.
want them to be able to like have
Have a
a
safe
space
Speak
where
space.
they
freely.
feel they can, yeah, freely speak and stuff. And there's also a mental health provider that's able to, kind of redirect, or kind of help them work through things
Yes.
if it's emotional.
Wow,
Because
super
there's a lot
helpful.
of hormones involved in all of this, and people
Yes.
get their feelings hurt very, very easily when they think something should have been done one way, and it really, and you should read
Mhm.
my mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
mental health was not a thing back when I did this. Like it was no, no. We had a monthly meeting. That was it, and you really just all talked about, oh, did you get a positive pregnancy test? You didn't talk about anything that was going on, and I have seen the switch, and I cannot can. Uh, condone it and applaud about it
Yeah.
enough that mental health is huge now in
Mhm.
this industry, and it needs to be, and it needs to keep going, and you're going
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
see those intended parents come around. You are, because they're going to realize once they're in the thick of it, they need it just as much if not more.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
do.
And
Yeah.
honestly, it's not like, I mean, because, we host like a monthly chat, like just like
Yeah.
a surrogates can come in and talk and stuff. And a lot of times, people don't talk, but, they just want to be there and hear other stories. And sometimes that's just helpful. And I do think that
Yes.
that
Mhm.
would be super helpful for intended parents. Like, oh, okay, I'm not comfortable with talking because that is That can be
Yeah.
overwhelming for people who don't want to like open up to like strangers, for
Have a
sure.
Mhm.
spotlight.
But
Yeah.
for those who do not mind the spotlight for like 10 minutes or whatever, you
Yeah.
can learn something or you can take
Yeah.
something from somebody else's story. So, yeah, it's, try it out, people.
Yeah, our IP support call does have a lot of intended parents that come, and some come and just listen and some come and talk, but it's just kind of like the one-on-one. I find like that the intended parents are a little more apprehensive
Ah,
about doing it.
got
And I
it.
think maybe it might
Okay.
be like, I don't
Like,
think there's anything
wrong.
going on that I need to talk to somebody, but I
Okay.
just like to leave
That
that
makes sense.
door open for
Got
them
it.
to, it's like we offer this. If you need it,
Yeah.
please talk to please talk to our social workers.
And a lot of
Oh,
times I think they might think they're going to be judged. They've gone through such a
Mhm.
hardship to get
sure.
here, to have the reality of needing a surrogate that you've probably tried everything else, like, and it's just not working. And now
Yep.
this is it, other than possibly adoption, but surrogacy has a big draw to it. And you don't want any more judgment. You
Mhm.
don't. I've never been an intended parent, but I could see how they would think,
Mhm.
oh no, I'm not opening. Oh no, somebody may pick at that, and they maybe just when they maybe won't work with me. Oh,
Or they won't
Right.
understand or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Aw,
There's a lot involved. That
okay.
is sad.
Wow.
Shifting gears a little
Yes.
bit, you mentioned that you were a surrogate 4 or 5 times, right?
Yeah. We'll call
Okay.
it 4.5.
Okay, I was gonna say 4.5, but some people are like, don't do the half. I consider
I
myself
feel
a
like
3.5.
You look old
yeah, I
enough.
feel like 4.5. 4.5
Yeah,
totally
You
works.
don't look old enough, Molly.
I
You
know.
just don't. My God, were they all singles?
Yes. Yeah, they were. And then my own kids, my oldest is actually 25. So I
Okay,
have
that's it. Nope,
Not
nope.
possible. You
Now you
look
need to go into a
25.
skincare line, like open that
You
up.
look
Like,
I have like
25.
zero skincare routine either. So I
What?
think that might be like what's good. And then I joke that in like Connecticut, our sun is not as bright as other
Oh
places. So
my God.
that also,
That could help. Yeah, we're leather over
I
here.
guess. Jeez. Wow.
That's insane. I was not expecting that. I'm over
Ever.
here like, cool, she's like close to my
I was,
age.
yeah, late 20s, early 30s.
I'll be 44 this year.
Go, girl. You look
Go, girl.
fantastic. My
Wow.
God. Okay. So
Thank you.
when was your last surrogate baby born?
The last baby born was she'll be 2. She'll be 2 this year.
So you
Oh,
did it after 40. High five
Yeah.
right there. Yes, me too. Okay, you go, girl.
that
Yep.
should be a
I
podcast,
mean,
Mom.
it was tiring, but besides the
Yeah,
tiring part, it
right.
was fine.
Oh,
Exactly.
how funny.
Exactly.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I joke that
What
I've like been pregnant my entire life.
Yeah.
what did your adult child think?
Right.
My adult child is trans, so they're actually like super excited about it because I've carried for a lot of them were gay couples, so they're very, so it was kind of like a bragging kind of thing where they would brag to their like friend group about like my mom's a surrogate for gay guys kind of
Love
thing.
Oh,
it.
so cool.
Yeah,
Love it.
which is cool. And then my other kids are 16 and 11. So when I started, my young or 12, he just turned 12. My youngest was like 3, so he had no idea,
How
Yeah.
with
funny.
my first surrogacies, and then now they're, so it's been like
It's
a
norm for them.
decade,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
decade almost 2 of being a surrogate. So I started the process in 2017 for my first surrogacy.
And what brought you to surrogate? Like, how do you find out about surrogacy?
And then I
Yeah, so my job at the time was at the IVF clinic. So it
Okay.
was kind of like one of those like, hey, I want to do this too.
Yeah.
It was like, this is cool. Like, these women are helping. Everybody's so happy. I was like, I want
Yeah.
to make people happy. Let's see if I can do it. So,
So
and that was kind
cool.
of where I was just like, oh wow, I was just impressed by everybody that I saw every day coming in, because the clinic that I worked at had a high population of people using surrogates. They did a lot of third party reproduction. So it was like, all right, let's see.
Oh,
Um,
fun.
and then, it was like I did one and I'm like, okay, I want to do another one kind of
Yep.
thing, So it's kind of like once you do one, you kind of just keep going
Keep going.
sometimes,
Yep.
until you really can't medically anymore.
So,
Right, exactly. Until it's
so
like,
I'm
no.
curious. You've done 4 and you have 3.
Yes.
That's 7 babies.
That is a lot of babies. Yeah. One of them was a sibling journey. So some places like kind of count differently
Okay.
with
Because
sibling journey.
that is
But
where I
yeah.
was going. That is
Yeah.
where I was going.
Because
Yeah.
the cutoff
They
is like
put a cap.
6 pregnancies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's 7 pregnancies,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you
yeah,
said you did almost a fifth. That would have been 8.
there was in there of that. Yeah. But that
Were you
didn't.
independent for any of those? Were
For
they?
2 of them. 2 of
Okay.
them. I had to think. Yeah. Two
Yeah.
of them were
Okay.
independent
Huh.
journeys.
Okay. So I guess
Wow.
it just depends on the clinic. And
It does.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like they're more flexible. I don't know why they count it different sometimes with like when it's like a sibling journey,
Yeah.
but
So
they
funny.
but
Probably
they
because
do.
they know the genes and stuff
I
like
think
that. They're
Yeah.
like, okay, this went
and how that
okay.
pregnancy was, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
That's pretty cool. I'm
Very
still
cool.
not over the fact that you said you
Yeah.
have a 25-year-old when you
5-year-old.
look
Yeah.
25.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, that's so crazy.
Nuts.
Let's see.
Wow.
Let me go down here. We like talked all through them. I'm like,
I
go
know.
us.
I'm
Jeez.
so sorry.
I know. Yeah, that you did some jumping around, so it's
Yeah,
We do that
but
all the time.
we literally
as it
covered
flowed.
majority. Yeah. Um, okay, so what is the biggest misconception people might have about surrogates, do you think?
The biggest misconception, I think, when people have no idea about surrogacy is just that they're gonna like want to keep the baby.
Right.
I think is what I see as the biggest misconception, and it's just like you don't understand like the rigorous screening that goes into it, and nobody wants a baby. Like
Right.
if you're doing this, like if I wanted a baby, I would have my own baby. You know,
Right.
it's like I have
Right.
no reason, and
Right.
I'm older, and my kids were, during some of them much older, and it's like I'm
Done.
do not want to start over with a baby that cries every 2 hours throughout the night and
For
changes
sure.
diapers. And,
Yeah.
it's like, that's never would that have been my thought till like,
Right.
because it's not yours and it's not yours from the beginning. You're not genetically related. It's like, I like to call it like extreme babysitting, right? It's like
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
babysitting
Yeah,
this fetus, and I could never imagine not then giving that baby back to his
Right.
or her parents.
Right.
It's just, yeah.
And it
So
just
when people
Yep.
think that, it's just like, I don't understand
Right.
why you think anybody would, but they really do. Like, and then you'll have intended parents too that are nervous initially
Yep.
because they think,
Yep.
that the surrogates might want to keep their baby. And it's like, I promise we don't.
Right. We don't. Yeah. And
We
once
go
you get to
through-
meet the surrogate, yeah.
Yeah. We go
There's
through a
reasons.
rigorous process to like ensure that, those that do, I don't know many that do have that mindset, but obviously that's what the screening process is for,
Right.
is to
Right.
weed out anybody that might have,
Potentially. Right.
yeah, like just like a little fear of like, I don't know. We
Mhm.
just did a podcast on like attachment,
Mhm.
and being a surrogate and like, did you have an attachment? And some people are sometimes scared, like, oh, I was so attached to my babies.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, would I be attached to this pregnancy? So again, it's all
Right.
the
It's
screening
unknown.
process.
If you don't know the process and you haven't been part of it, it can
Yep.
be such fear because it's so unknown. And then those who are in the community are like, no, not a big deal.
Right.
Not a
Like,
problem.
no,
We don't
not at
want
all.
Not no,
Not
no,
at
don't
all.
want to keep it.
And
but
it's like
thank
you look at the pregnancy different, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like you're sending pictures to
Yes.
the intended
Yes.
parents.
Yes.
You're updating them on what's going on. It's like you're not internalizing it and holding all these things in
Right.
so that you feel like it's yours. It's like you're always sharing and updating and doing
Yeah.
things, for, to give this baby the best,
Yep.
the best
Yep.
growing or whatever, that you
Yeah.
can do. So yeah, it's always like just kind of crazy that people, still do think that in,
Yes.
2026. My gosh, I just
Yeah. No, but you're good. From
I
then
just,
to
like,
now,
went
they
back
still think
Yeah.
10 years.
Still
But
has
yeah,
decade.
it's 2026 and,
Yeah.
nobody has very rarely has that situation ever happened.
Exactly.
It was like decades and decades ago where there was not the screening and stuff that there is now.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple stories where the intended parents just haven't picked up the baby. And then what do you do there? That's a whole nother podcast, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's not always the surrogate.
Not always a surrogate,
Want to keep this, but no, we're not going to want to.
Yeah. And then, surrogates get nervous about that too. Like,
Yes.
what happens?
Right.
What happens if they don't come for the baby? And then that's when you need that strong legal contract to say, like, hey, if they don't show up, it's going to this person and
Correct.
Exactly.
And this document.
100%.
So, but yeah, it's
Man,
a lot goes into it.
It
A lot
does.
does go into it. And speaking of the screening process, like, what do you think surprises people most about the screening process as they're going through it?
I think like they don't sometimes realize how much information can be in medical records.
Yeah.
And I always find people like surprised, like either they don't remember that something happened in their pregnancy. Like sometimes doctors will document things and they're like, I had no idea that I had a postpartum hemorrhage, or I had no idea I had high blood pressure. So sometimes people really are surprised by kind of what's in there. And then it also, there are just some details of things like, mental health concerns are sometimes in there. Sometimes if there were social concerns and stuff. So it's like you can get a lot of information, in those records. And, sometimes it also can be incorrect, and then it's like hard. It's like, do you trust the paper or do you trust the person? And, so that part of it, is kind of hard. So when it's, with the population that we work with here, if it's their sister, they're going to lean differently than if it was somebody that they met in a Facebook group, that might be, misrepresenting their information.
Interesting.
Very true. Very true. Molly, what is one thing every intended parent should know before starting the process with you guys, or just the process in general?
Yeah. So there's like so many things.
I know, right?
Like hard, like, what's the one?
Top 5. Give us top 5.
What's the one thing? I think just that the process can take a long time, because sometimes like the intended parents come to the process and it's like, so we can have transfer in 2 months, right? And it's like, wait, no. It's like just their idea of like a timeline sometimes is like way incorrect. That it's like they really have to be like, no, this step can take this long and this step can take, it's like from when you first have, when you found a match or you found somebody independently, it can, it can take at the least, it's probably like 6 months before you can get to a transfer after you go through kind of all the screening steps, the medical screening at the clinic, your legal contract, so it's always kind of some people are just baffled with the length of time that it can take. And then the length of time that it can take to get to the end too, because not every transfer is successful and you have to kind of start over, or you need additional testing. And, sometimes if you're on year 2 and a half and you're, now your surrogate's pregnant and you're almost getting ready for delivery.
Right.
And
what about
is a virtue on this one? No, patience is huge. They just people need to pack that patience. Yep.
Yes.
And what about a surrogate and the screening process? Like, what's your tip for them?
I feel like sometimes surrogates just get really nervous about how many steps there are in the screening and what happens, like they're always nervous about, well, what happens if, psych ask me this question, it's like they just kind of like overthink it and they get like nervous. And it's really like the screening is looking at the whole picture. It's like it doesn't matter if you answered one question, like you have a little bit of anxiety, like that's okay. Everybody has a little bit of anxiety, but it's just, your medical records are showing the picture. You're gonna have your psychological evaluation is adding more to it, your background check, so it's like all of these pieces, it's going to be okay. So it's, they just get, kind of nervous about the process. And because a lot of it's invasive,
it is.
It's a background check. Sometimes it's a drug screen. Sometimes there's a virtual home visit, it's like, there's a lot of things. And, and if they don't, if they're new to the process and they, kind of just fell into surrogacy, it can be a lot. So, it's kind of like breaking all the steps into like little steps and letting them know, it's always important to be honest about things, but at the same time, it's, it's going to be okay if it was just, or you had, you had to take iron supplements in one pregnancy or something like that. It's like, that's not a big deal. It's like everybody, the clinic's going to kind of look at the whole picture. So don't worry about it. If there was a small thing in that, in your records, or, something that you're nervous about with psych, like it's most likely going to be okay.
Yes.
I think part of it is for a woman and their family, or just a woman in general, to decide that she wants to be a surrogate. She's already like kind of invested and said,
Mhm.
yes, this is something I want to do. I need to do this for whatever reasons.
Mhm.
And then to think that her life is being picked apart, it's not, but to feel that it's being
Yeah.
picked apart like that, oh my gosh, this might not happen for one little thing. Just like you
Mhm.
said, take it in baby steps
Yep.
and just let the process continue and wash
Yeah.
over you and just get through each step. It's a lot, but I think that mental health also speaks to that too.
Mhm.
So if there's support there to help her through each step, it's going to make them less nervous and less anxiety.
Exactly. And then, them kind of finding somebody maybe that was a surrogate that they can talk to about the process. There's some good support groups out there, like Facebook groups and stuff, or, they're always welcome to join our monthly group too. So it's like, just kind of find
Unique.
Find your people,
Right.
to just, and that will really help, just kind of ease some of that.
Absolutely.
No, I completely agree. And I maybe I'm wrong for thinking this, but after being in, the community for such like time like yourself, like oftentimes, because that is a fear, right? Like you do feel kind of like, I don't want to say attacked, but you kind of do. It's like,
Mhm.
like you don't like me or whatever it is,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
you don't understand. Let me explain. Like let me, send you like these 20 paragraphs of why this one thing happened. And like really what I found is like not as long as, but I would say 90% of it, if after your last birth, your doctor was like, you're good to carry again, you're most likely gonna get qualified to be a
Mhm.
surrogate. There's obviously some
Oops.
things that might, stop that, but I think it's very, very unlikely. I would say 90% of people who are cleared to have another baby
Mhm.
are going to be cleared to be a surrogate. So it sounds more daunting
Right.
than it is.
Right.
Than
Right.
it is because yeah, you're not being studied. They're just being cautious. They got to cover their butts,
Right.
people.
It's a lot. It's a
Right,
big,
exactly. And that's what there's a lot of liability involved
Yes.
in
Yes.
the whole process. So it's kind
So
of,
much.
just a lot of it's like a mitigating risk kind of thing of
Yes.
why these steps are all important.
yes.
Exactly.
Because the
Exactly.
ultimate outcome is a healthy baby
Yes,
Hmm.
for
exactly.
all
You want the
parties.
baby
All parties.
healthy,
Yeah.
and then you want the surrogate to also have a healthy pregnancy as
Right.
well. It's like you just want everybody to
It's
basically
win-win. That's all you're looking for.
Yes.
All you're looking for. And I always look at surrogacy as a win-win. Like it is a win for the if
It
all
is.
is going well, right?
For
And we hope, we keep our fingers crossed. We don't like to hear those negative stories, but we do hear them. But it just makes you pause and think, okay, wait, what can be done differently, or
Mhm.
how can we move past this? How can we learn from it? But yeah, I always look at surrogacy as win-win. I that's where my brain goes because I want it
Yeah.
to work.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got to work. Yeah,
Exactly.
gives people hope. So
Yes.
so sad that they just can't have the babies they want. Okay.
I know. But with Molly,
I know.
they have
And
an
they can do
easier
it
chance.
affordably. That's
I
just
Affordably.
know.
freaking awesome.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
honestly, surrogacy is out of reach
A
was
lot of
out of
people.
reach for a ton of people.
Surrogacy, if I had to use surrogacy, it would be out of
Oh,
reach for me.
yeah.
Like,
Right.
there's no,
Like
I
middle
don't know
class
how to do that.
America. Like
Yeah.
no joke. No joke. Middle and lower class America. It's unattainable unless you have a facility or an agency
Yeah.
a resource like yours.
Without having to what's that called? Like second mortgage your
A second
home.
mortgage. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. Like
yeah.
so
Uh-huh.
many
Yep.
people do that. And it's
Uh-huh.
so
Or
sad. And I'm
personal
like,
loans or
yeah.
credit cards max and then you're paying off this baby until this baby's 35. Like,
Right.
let's avoid that. There's
Yeah.
got to be better solutions. This is one of them.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is one of them.
Yeah.
Let me
We
Yes.
definitely are here. And there also are a lot of, there's more and more grants out there that are also available to people who are, don't have $200,000 just sitting around for a surrogacy, so there's different options. And that's what we just want to be here. We want to be an option for these people to help them manage their journey and to do it, at a cost that they're not going to have to
Right.
refinance their home to do.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Just
Oh
to
my
create a
gosh.
family. Like, I mean, it's just one of the staples in America, I think, like home and starting a family and,
Yeah.
whether you do it singly or married or just as a joint union, whatever it is, it's just part of the American dream. That I just look at it that way. If you want a family, you should be able to have one, given that your mental stability,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. I'm not just
Yeah.
saying anybody who says yes, but you know what I mean. Yeah. And this is great that people have options. That they
amazing.
can do
Yeah.
it.
And, it's like infertility doesn't say like, oh, just just
Right.
the top 10% earners are going to have infertility. You have
Right.
these diagnoses,
Yep.
Right.
no matter what your financials are. And then, if you're a gay couple,
Yep.
that's your only choice to,
It is.
to have a baby with your genetics is to turn to surrogacy.
Yeah.
And that can, that's a whole population, that's,
Yes.
millions of people are,
Yeah.
a
Out of
gay
the loop.
couple or
Yeah.
a single, a single guy or a single woman who, wants to have a child. So
Yes. Agreed.
Very true.
It's just
Oh my
options
God.
should be there. And this is fantastic. They weren't 20 years ago, 24 years ago. They were not there. It was all agencies. And each agency that came on board was just higher and higher and higher and higher and more elite and more elite. And it just knocked so many people out. So again, this is a positive I see in 20 some odd years. This is great. This is wonderful. Yeah.
Where can people find you, Molly?
yeah, so we are on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. So just Surrogate Screening Solutions. I think on Instagram it might have dots. Also, our website is www.surrogatescreening-solutions.com. You can book a consultation right from our website. You also can message us on Instagram or Facebook, and we're always happy to. I usually do all the replying on the social media, so we'll get right back to you. Our consultations are always free of charge. Always happy to just answer questions to you about surrogacy, either from intended parents or surrogates. So I probably talk about surrogacy 90% of my day.
Right.
So I'm always always happy to be there just to, to support and cheer you on. And, even if you don't have a need for us right now, I'm still, happy to, talk to the intended parents and help give them some guidance.
It's very sweet.
Amazing. Oh my gosh.
Really
I'll put all that in the
Yeah.
in the description so that way it's easier to
Perfect.
find you. But did we leave anything out?
Yeah. You have
I
anything?
think I think we hit all the things.
We hit
Yeah.
literally every bullet point, just like out of order, but like
You're such a great speaker, and you just in a
You
nutshell,
are.
man. Bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam. You got it. I was like, oh, look at her. She is. Oh, this is lovely.
Yes. And she
I
looks
know,
25.
Yeah.
See?
That's another podcast we have to do with you. Skincare routine. How do you work out? Whatever. I can't.
my Aldi's bootleg facial moisturizer cleaner stuff.
But you know what? It works.
Yep.
It works.
It does.
Amazing.
I don't know, but yeah,
So funny.
I've always kind of looked young. So then it's also kind of hard too because sometimes people don't take you as seriously,
Right.
right?
Sure.
When
Right.
it's like, oh, are you 25? No, actually, I'm 44.
Right.
I know what
Right.
I'm doing. I promise.
The minute you said you had the older adult child, I was like, oh, there's no way this girl's in her. There's no way.
No,
Like,
you can't be
wait a minute.
25 with a 25-year-old. That's
No,
not possible.
Like 12? Did you have it? Oh my God. Okay.
My
So
gosh.
funny.
So
Wow.
funny.
More power to you. I'm so excited for
Yes.
you. So thrilled.
Thank you.
Good luck to all those upcoming babies that are cooking.
Yeah.
Yes,
Good luck.
yes,
Oh my
we're
gosh.
we're so excited. I think right now we have 20 journeys that we're doing case management.
Oh.
4 in different stages. Yeah, so there's babies, there's people at transfer, there's
Great.
so it's exciting. The growth is exciting. We like being able to just really help this intended parents that are
And there's
looking to do things independently, just be able to make it easier for everybody in the process and to be able to be that support for the surrogate too, because that's something sometimes people don't always think about with independent journeys. It's like, who's going to do all of the things, and and who's going to support her,
right.
because there's a lot that goes on, especially if you've done surrogacy journeys. There's emotions, there's questions, and just being able to have somebody that you can ask those things to, I think is really helpful to
Very
helpful. Super helpful.
Because
Oh my
again,
gosh.
the ultimate is a positive, wonderful outcome with a healthy baby at the end, and a mentally stable intended parents and surrogate and surrogate's family, because they go through a lot too.
Yeah.
So if the surrogate's mental health is taking care of her in check, she's going to be that much better of a mom
Right.
and a wife, a partner, what have you.
Yep, definitely.
Exactly.
Win-win.
Well, thank you so much, Molly. This was fantastic. I hope we
Great.
talk soon. Like, keep us posted on all those babies.
Yes,
Awesome.
definitely. Thank you so much
Oh my
for
gosh, our
having me
pleasure.
as a guest. This
Yes.
was great. It was so nice to talk to both of you today.
Nice to have you.
It was beautiful to have you, and I
Yes.
love what you're doing.
Yes. Love it. Love it.
It's
Keep going.
definitely needed. You
Uh,
found what was needed and you
yes.
provided it. So
Thank you.
I wish you the absolute best. I mean, you're doing phenomenal. So
Yeah. 20 journeys. This is great. Yeah.
yeah.
People are finding out about you, so it's wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm so excited for, the show to air and stuff
Yes,
like
more
that.
people.
And,
More people.
hope to see you guys out in the surrogacy space
Surrogacy
too.
world.
Yeah.
Yes,
One of these days.
We're there.
yes.
Behind the shutters.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, have a great
Thank
rest of your day,
you.
Molly.
Thank you,
Thanks for
you
your time.
too.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
She's
Oh
so,
my gosh.
she's so cute.
How sweet is that?
3 years. My God, that's phenomenal.
I know, 20 journeys currently, like 7 to 8 babies within
Babies
this
coming.
year. Like,
And we all know it takes a long time to get to that point where you're pregnant and having a baby. And in 3 years, she's got 8 cooking. Whoo, amazing. Keep it going. She
a
looks like she has
testament to
endless
her.
energy. Because in
Yeah.
Connecticut, like we record these at a certain time. It's like nighttime in Connecticut. So she had endless energy.
It's nighttime in Connecticut right now. Her son was out.
Because it's daylight savings time. It's like 5:20, 5:30. It's nighttime. It's dinner time.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't know my geography. It's fine.
Connecticut's East Coast. Yes. And she's still like that perky at the end of the day. Like, you go, girl.
Seriously, dreams.
Woo.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Molly. This was absolutely fantastic. And
It was great. I learned a lot. That was
I hope
awesome.
more people go to you because that is a
Yeah.
great little in-between option.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. Well, if anybody has any questions or stories they would like to share, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Stop.Sit.Surrogate or at our email at Stop.Sit.Surrogate@gmail.com.
It's been another edition of Stop.Sit.Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Before we wrap up, a huge thank you to our sponsor, U.S. Surrogacy. Their support helps us continue to share real stories, educate our community, and connect families through the incredible journey of surrogacy. Thanks so much for tuning in to Stop Sit Surrogate, where every story matters and every journey is worth sharing. We'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. Also, check out the link to our YouTube channel in the description. And be sure to also check out our children's book, My Mom Has Superpowers, sold on Amazon and Etsy.